Named after the municipality of the same name in the province of Colchagua in the 6th region of Chile, the Placilla was the first four-masted barque built for Ferdinand Laeisz. She and her sister ship Pisagua were built in 1892 on the slipways of the famous Johann C. Tecklenburg shipyard in Geestemünde, Bremerhaven. They became the prototype for a number of similar tall ships built by the shipping company. They had a completely steel hull, riveted plates, and steel masts, the mizzen mast as a pole mast with a gaff. Later four-masted barques and also the Potosi had 2 gaffs. The length overall was 113 meters, width 13.58 meters, and draft 7.04 meters. The rig was modern standard, split topsails and topgallant sails, double topsails and topgallants yards, with royal yards above. The lower masts and topmasts were made of one piece, sheet steel, the royal yards and topgallants masts of wood. The hull was traditionally black with a white waterline and red underwater hull, poop deck and high deck with white trim on the sides. Both new four-masted barques were able to prove their superiority on the saltpeter voyage around Cape Horn, and thus became a new type of ship at Laeisz and the model for the appearance and structure of all future Laeisz sailing ships. They were designed as 3-island ships, an innovation at the time, which was not adopted in every ship plan later on. They came from Liverpool, which is why the term Liverpool House exists for these midship houses that extend from side to side and are firmly incorporated into the ship's superstructure. Compared to the previous flat deckers with raised forecastle and poop, this so-called high deck was now added in the middle of the ship, which had many functions. It served as the command bridge, with a chart house and steering wheel or steering house, and all the living and working quarters for the captain, officers, cook, and crew were accommodated in it. The big advantage of this design: central main wheel on the high deck, all crew quarters on the midship island. The sailors no longer had to live in wet bunks under the forecastle or in the often flooded deckhouse. The crew was now quartered in large, water-protected and well-ventilated quarters, often separated into starboard and port watches, each with 12 to 18 men. The second wheel on the poop deck only served as an emergency wheel. On the midships island, the officer on watch, and especially the helmsman, were safe from the dangerous high waves that had washed many a man off the helm or caused him to lose control of the wheel, usually with fatal consequences for both ship and man. In order to get from the upper deck to the forecastle or poop without getting wet feet, gangways were soon added, which, usually on the starboard side near the ship's masts, connected the 3 islands. This was a considerable relief, especially in heavy weather, and offered additional safety. In the spring of 1892, Captain Robert Hilgendorf, who was not only the most popular among the Laeisz captains, but of all sailing ship captains of his time, set a new record for the Lizard Valparaiso route in 58 days, 8.3 weeks. Although this was later beaten by the fast Laeisz sailors, it was a record-breaking voyage that attracted worldwide attention. Hilgendorf made 2 more round trips to the saltpeter coast. Then he took over the sister shipping company Pitlochry, and Captain Otto Schmidt came on board the Placilla as the new captain until 1901. He completed 7 round trips with her to the saltpeter coast and back to Europe. After 9 years of service, the Placilla was sold in 1901 for unknown reasons to the 1896 Reederei Aktiengesellschaft von 1896 and renamed Optima in 1903. O names were a distinguishing feature of the shipping company. Under the new flag, she was seen primarily in Central and North American ports on the Pacific coast, Santa Rosalia, Mexico, San Francisco, Tacoma. On January 5, 1905, the barque left Hamburg under Captain Butts with a cargo of coke for Santa Rosalia, Mexico. When entering the English Channel, the ship ran into a North Sea storm, which pushed her too far west of her course, close to the coast of Norfolk. In thick fog, the barque ran aground on 18 January 1905 on the notorious Haysboro Sandbanks, Haysboro Sands, northeast of Great Yarmouth, position 52 degrees 54.925 minutes north, 001 degree 43.864 minutes east. The lifeboat Elizabeth Simpson set off from Gorleston-on-Sea on the hawser of the ocean-going tug Meteor on January 19th, following a distress signal from the Cross Sands lightship. Attempts were made to tow the barque free with other ships that had arrived. After 60 hours of fruitless work, the Optima had to be abandoned. All 32 crew members were finally rescued from the breaking apart ship on January 21st, and a shipping disaster was avoided.